Understanding Workiva. Josh Gertsch is one of the co-leaders of the capital markets and SEC reporting areas for Workiva. A lot of lawyers don't know a lot about Workiva. Of course, if you're in the financial reporting realm, you do. I'm Brock Romanek today on realtransparentdisclosure.com. So I thought I'd bring Josh on to talk to us about Workiva because for a lot of lawyers, Workiva is sort of something that the accountants, the financial reporting team works with. And a lot of people don't know what a great company it is. Of course, we've all heard about it. It's now been a public company for a while. I remember when it first started, and the growth of the company has really been truly amazing. So, Josh, the first question for you is why should lawyers be aware of Workiva?
Yeah, and I think, Workiva primarily supports, securities attorneys for the most part, and we help with all SEC filings related to the 1933, the 34, and the 40 Act. So each time one of these filings, has to be done under one of these SEC regulations, you need an SEC filing agent, or sometimes people refer to that as a financial printer to do that. And Workiva can serve that purpose. I think the difference that we're going, the Workiva has been focused on is we've been more focused on the technology front. Like, yes, we're a SEC filing agent, but really we're trying to bring automation and technology to that process. And we do it in three kind of distinct ways, I would say. One is we're focused on data automation. So, any data that comes that needs to be included in the filings. That comes from source documents or source systems, and any updates that ever need to be made can be automated. So, there's not a person that has to upload balances or do that. We're trying to create kind of data linkage that can be automated. So you're not worried about if the number's right and if that number's in one place in a 10K or 10Q or a proxy or somewhere, that number's reflected. The same number kind of anywhere else that it's kind of in that document will show up the same. It's all linked together effectively. The second thing is we're focused on like workflow, stakeholder management. So, we know that with one of these filings, either accounting or finance, the lawyers or investor relations are kind of leading the document and, running the process on them. And so basically, we've created a SaaS platform where everyone can get in and work on things. All changes can be tracked, black lines can be done, and version control can be managed. So it's about kind of managing the process and the workflow of those filings. And then I think lastly, the third one that's probably on most people's mind on most people's mind these days is, they want AI to be able to help them with these processes. So we built AI within our platform that it can be in a safe environment where we know, a lot of that confidential data can't be leaked, or it's in a kind of a closed environment. And then, they can work with AI to help them through the process of putting those filings together. And then you can upload them or file them directly with the SEC out of our platform.
And of course, one of those areas that sort of closed environment is ideal for is when someone's working on a deal. So how does your platform work with deals?
Yeah. So Workiva has a separate capital markets practice just focused on deals. And again, we're trying to bring all those technology elements to that. And then we also do have a dedicated service team that can jump in and help because we all know the importance of those deals and, the amount of confidentiality, the amount of strict liability that can be associated with them a lot of times. And so we kind of combine technology and services in our area to help this. But the main deals we support with our platform are IPOs, secondary offerings, M&A transactions, and other maybe regular or special proxy filings that go along with those deals. And so our platform is intended for the deal team to use and to support that filing, and then for them to use the technology to run the deal. So, the attorneys, they hold the pen on a lot of these deals. They're running the process. They can do that within the platform. They can bring different deal members in. They can allocate them sections. Everyone can work on the deal, and once it's drafted, reviewed, they can file it directly with the SEC. And I think, the real intent there is they can maintain control while getting the benefit of technology to help them in those areas. And so we've seen tremendous growth in this area where there's been more of that appetite to use technology with the deal team. And, we are continuing to grow that out. We're bringing AI to help them more and more. But that's where we've actually just seen a tremendous amount of growth, probably in the last 3 or 4 years, kind of coming out of COVID, of this change in mindset of, hey, the legal practice was maybe one of the last professions to come to the table and start adopting technology. But there's more appetite than ever for them to use it. And I think, and we've seen that reflected in our deals practice.
And then how about the drafting of proxies that tend to be more graphic heavy than sort of like a deal document? How does the
Yeah.
platform work there?
Yeah, so we do support the preparation and the filing of the proxy statements within our platform. You can draft it, you can edit it, you can file it. One thing that's interesting is I think silently we have seen kind of more and more of that within the S&P. We file about 50% of the proxies for those large companies. So again, I think there's that trend of the attorneys looking for technology to help them. But we do support the filing of the proxies. You can draft it, you can edit it, you can file it. It can be linked to, all the other relevant documents. And then we do have specified design elements or people that can help with that, either within Workiva, or we partner with some partners outside of Workiva that help with that design element, as we have seen a big trend in companies wanting to brand that proxy statement more, make it theirs. And so, we help with both supporting the SEC filing portion of that, as well as kind of partnering on the design piece to get people to be able to put their proxy and message it and give it to their stake or their shareholders in a way that they want to see it.
And of course, one of the primary partners that does a lot of graphic design is Labrador. How does Workiva work with Labrador to assist companies with their proxies?
Yeah, so Labrador helps. We work together in two different ways. So, kind of speaking to the design element, again, we just see a lot more appetite to build out those designs in the proxies, and Labrador is fantastic at that. They work with companies, they understand the vision of what they want on the design, and they're able to help build that within Workiva and with the company and us to kind of bring all those components together. And so they really do weigh in heavy on that design component, making sure it reflects what companies want to show their shareholders. And that's the first one. So they work directly with us and the customer in our platform to kind of bring that all together. And then the second way we've seen them help us a lot in different way, or the other way that we've seen them like really weigh in and help us is, again, we are seeing this shift to adopt technology, and that can be a little bit nerve-wracking, or to switch from maybe using a printer to using Workiva can be a little bit, I don't know if you want to call it scary the first time, but Labrador, for the proxy statement, they will take, your existing process, they'll put it in Workiva, they'll format it, they'll help you jump in where you can just jump in and kind of start going on it. And so they've been a huge advocate and partner with us and being able to help people see that there's another way to do it, that there's some benefits to our technology if you do it. And so we've seen them as a valuable partner in those ways, and not in setting up the document and the proxy, and then also, to your point, really being able to weigh in on that design element of it all.
Well, thanks for your time. That demystifies the process for me. And have a good day. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah. Thanks, Brock. Appreciate it.